Hello everyone, welcome back. If you haven't been here before, my name is Debbie. I read a lot of books and my top is falling off my shoulder. There we go. Today's book is One Little Mistake by Emma Curtis. I have read one other Emma Curtis book before, and that was The Babysitter, and I feel there's a theme involving parents and children across the books that I've read so far. Obviously it's just two, but I am very aware of that theme. The tagline is, "You trusted your best friend you shouldn't have." I'm looking forward to getting into this one with you. This one had me on the edge of my seat, I'll just let you know that. And this was the audio book, and it was read by Penelope Rawlings. Now, I have actually just made a video about another book that I read that was voiced by Penelope Rawlings, but I actually read this book first. I finished this before I finished The Bird Tribunal, but I've done it the other way around because I really wanted to get my thoughts on The Bird Tribunal out, because it was such a weird and interesting book. You will have watched that one by now, but if you haven't, you can go back and watch that. It was unsettling, I think was the word that I used throughout that video. So this is 11 hours and 36 minutes in romance and contemporary. Ooh, no. I think they just got the genre mixed up on Moray Rocks there, because this is very much a psychological thriller. So I just read that blurb. It's fairly short and sweet, this blurb, so yeah. Vicky Seagrave is blessed. 3 beautiful children, a successful doting husband, great friends, and a job she loves. She should be perfectly happy. When she makes a split-second decision that risks everything she holds dear, there's only one person she trusts enough to turn to. But Vicky is about to learn that one mistake is all that it takes. That if you're careless with those you love, you don't deserve to keep them. So yeah, you've got Vicky and her friend Amber. Those are like the main two that you're seeing throughout this book. And at the beginning of the book, Vicky, as it says in the blurb, makes a truly terrible mistake that she regrets for the rest of the book. Basically, she decides to leave her newborn baby at home while she goes to see a house that her friend Amber is showing off. Amber isn't aware of this at first. Amber is showing off the house. She's a real estate agent, and she gets a cancellation and comes back with Vicky to the house, only to realise that the house has been broken into. And when Vicky goes upstairs to her son, she sees a complete stranger dressed in black holding her baby, and she's just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And she wrestles to get the baby off. Unfortunately, the baby does fall on the floor in the process and gets quite a nasty bump, so he is injured, but not life-threateningly. That's a hard word to say, life-threateningly. It's not life-threatening for the child, but he does get a nasty bump. And when Amber realises that Vicky left her son in the house by himself, Amber goes into protection mode, because there's a lot of references in the book to other news stories of kids being left alone and abandoned, and there's a court case happening in the book about a woman who left her child in the car. And so Vicky is very aware that she could have her kids taken away if it all comes out. But at first, Vicky does actually want to tell the truth to the police, and Amber is the one that says, no, you cannot tell them that you left your son alone in the house, because it's going, it's going to get messy. The thing is though, it gets messy anyway. It means that Vicky is lying to the police about what happened, and it also means that she can't truly identify the person who was in her house, because he can tell the story that nobody was in the house when he broke in, and that has something to do with why he picked up the baby, because it was left alone. And so there comes a point when Vicky is asked to do one of those lineups, and even though she knows it's him, she's just there going, I can't, because he knows the truth and the fact that I'd left my baby in the house alone for 15 minutes. A lot can happen in 15 minutes. But it goes a lot deeper, and it went in directions I didn't even think. It's just like, it says you trusted your best friend you shouldn't have. And I thought it was mainly to do with the fact that Amber is the one that convinces her not to tell the truth to the police. They come up with their own version of events that says that she never left him in the house, basically. That she was with him at all times. But other things come out in the book that threaten that story that she and Amber tell. But then you're also, in other chapters, getting flashbacks to a young girl called Katia in the mid-90s who was in and out of foster care, and her relationship with one set of foster parents. And I will say that storyline does involve child abuse. Even with the modern day story, it centres on child abuse and neglect, but then also the sexual assault of a minor in Katia's storyline. So I will just let you know about that. And so you go through the book trying to figure out the connection between the Katia storyline and the storyline between Vicky and Amber. And it's just like, obviously Katia has become one of these two women, who is it? And then that connection was solidified for me in a scene involving one of the characters' fear of water, which was connected to a story about Katia in the past about her not learning to swim and things. And it was just like, oh, I think I figured out part of that twist. But it was only a couple of chapters before that reveal happened anyway, so it feels like it's one of those things where it's like you got those seeds dropped and it's just waiting for that to bloom. So you're given enough hints that you feel like you're on the same page, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just found it incredibly interesting, and also seeing the things that I guess the grown-up Katia has held on to, because you realise that she was treated awfully as she was growing up, when she was going in and out of foster care, and the families and the people that abandoned her. And so it's one of those things where it's just like you kind of sympathise with the baddie in a way. Yeah, this person had a really shit upbringing, and they are a result of everything that happened to them as a child. Not that that can defend like illegal activities or anything, but there is a thing about hurt people, which is where this story seems to go. And the grudges that are held against people that weren't aware of what was happening. And yeah, I'm trying to be very tight-lipped because I don't want to go into full-on spoiler territory for this book, because I feel like it is one that you need to read to fully understand. But it is a very, very good book. I think Emma Curtis has joined a couple of other people on like writers to watch for me, because as I said before, like I really enjoyed The Babysitter. I thought that was a really interesting one, looking at those relationships, the way one of the male characters was written in that slimy, slightly unlikable thing, even though he's described as someone quite charming, and it's just like, no, that gets my shoulders up. But yeah, I thought this was really clever, and it's just seeing the similarities in regards to this and The Babysitter. It could be an interesting kind of author comparison to see if Emma Curtis does have a common theme in regards to children in her books. There was an interesting connection there. In the author biography, it says she was born in Brighton and brought up in London, and it was her fascination with the darker side of domestic life that inspired her to write One Little Mistake, which was her first psychological suspense. One Little Mistake was her first one. This might be the Babysitter, might be the second, so I've done it in the wrong order. Oh well. Not that they have any connection other than having the same author, but yeah, just like the tagline of The Babysitter is, you trust her with your child, wouldn't you? And it's just like, oh, I just feel those similarities between the books. But I found that was quite interesting. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was edge of your seat stuff. There were a couple of twists in there that I did see coming, there were a couple of twists that I didn't, and the ending is like a proper fireworks display almost, with everything that happens, and you're just like, oh my god, how did this all go so wrong? Yeah, it's explosive, this ending. And whereas there were some things that I kind of guessed was going to happen, it just goes so much further than you ever thought it would, in regards to how everything kind of just blows up in everybody's face. One Little Mistake by Emma Curtis. You trusted your best friend, you shouldn't have. There's your front cover. I do love a good psychological thriller. I do like things with a lot of twists. It's almost like a game of like, can I figure out what that twist is? And obviously I love it if I can figure it out, because I'm just like, yay, I saw what was happening. If something's too obvious, I might get a bit, but I like it when it's just like, there's just the little breadcrumbs, the little seeds that are dropped that make you think, ooh, I wonder if. And so it's almost like a pat on the back when I figure it out, and I don't feel disappointed by the fact that I figured it out. It's just like, no, because the author put those breadcrumbs in for a reason. Give me a psychological thriller or a murder mystery and I am on board, people. But yeah, One Little Mistake, Emma Curtis, this is definitely a new author for me to like keep an eye on, because I've listened to 2 audiobooks. Was the other one an audiobook? No. I read the first one, this one was an audiobook, and yeah, I really enjoy the premise of both of them, and I enjoyed the twists, so yeah. Emma Curtis, I think you're one of my new favourite authors. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you next time with another video. Stay safe. I love you all. Goodbye.